Ask the Doctor with Michael Lange begins in 30 seconds. Ask the Doctor with Michael Lange begins in 10.
This is Roger P. Schulman, longtime newsman here in Tampa Bay, and today I'd like to share some great news about my dear friend, Dr. Michael Lange, celebrating 30 glorious years on the airwaves with his great show, Ask the Doctor. Congratulations, Doctor, on a job well done, and we look forward to hearing you for 30 more years.
Doctor, my eyes, tell me what is wrong, 'cause I am wise to leave them open for so long.
Okay, good morning, and welcome to Ask the Doctor. 30 years, I tell you, time flies when you're having fun. This is my 30-year monthly celebration. So I started Ask the Doctor April of 1993. I tell you, it seems like yesterday. I've been blessed, I really have, to be on the radio this long, nonstop. And I got to tell you, this show has been extremely successful because of all of you, the viewers and the callers, and all of my patients and friends and family. So I want to thank everybody. Once again, this is a live call-in show for those of you that are new to the program. Who's Dr. Lange? I'm a board-certified optometric physician. I'm a certified nutritional specialist, founder of Lange Eye Care and Associates, the Lange Eye Institute, Fortifeye Vitamins, and like I said, I've been hosting Ask the Doctor for 30 years now. This is a live call-in show. I'll give you the phone number, and you can call. Any questions regarding your vision, eye care, or a nutritionally related topic, pick up the phones, 1-877-969-8600. That's 1-877-969-8600. Also, if you'd like to see me as your doctor, your eye doctor, or Dr. Susan Somerton, or Dr. Lori Caputi, or Dr. Richard Hall, you can come to the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages, Florida. I'm going to give you that phone number for the Lange Eye Institute. That is 352-753-4014. One more time, get a pen and paper, write the Lange Eye Institute phone number down, 352-753-4014. Of course, anything we talk about, any of the supplements that we talk about that we've done research and development on is at a website, fortifeye.com. That's Fortifeye. Remember the EYE. I'm an eye doctor. So fortifeye.com. Always look at the bundles on there because the bundles have a synergistic blend of nutrients that work well together at a really discounted price. And also, remember, we have free shipping always at fortifeye.com. Remember, we're running 30% off this month on the macular defense. A lot of you guys and gals are taking the Fortifeye macular defense, whether it's the zinc-free version or the regular version. It's 30% off on the website right now. And it's a great multivitamin as well. And we'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. But first, I want to say hello to my co-host, Dr. Richard Hall. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Lange, and again, happy anniversary. It's amazing, 30 years on the radio. I think you're the new record holder, if I'm not mistaken, I think, for the longevity of a radio show. So, again, congratulations to you. I hope to be with you for another 30 years on the radio and seeing you every day and working with you. It's my pleasure to be there. And not only are we colleagues and cohorts at the office like that, we're good friends. And anyway, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ask the Doctor. Ask the Doctor, as I could say. It's a beautiful day here in Central Florida. I hope wherever you are, you make it a beautiful day too. And that's up to you. And I want you to do that today. Did you do an early morning walk this morning? Did you do some stretching, maybe some yoga? You're going to pump some iron today? Remember, you need to make that as part of your plan for your exercise time. It's got to be part of your wellness plan. We all try to eat right. We certainly take our vitamins and like that, but I got to get you to get some movement going. And I see patients every day. They're just not doing that. They're attached to that recliner. And I want you to get out and do a little bit of walk. When I say do some exercise, you don't have to join the gym. It can be a walk around the block, and that's fine with me. Okay, but I want you to get some exercise, get some circulation going. This morning, I'm on the air at 9 o'clock, and I have to do my show prep and everything. But I already did 3 miles on the beach this morning, and I'm going to hit the gym this afternoon and pump some iron. Is that in your plan today? I hope so. I really do. I want the best for you. You know that, Dr. Lange, and I always do. Big show today. We're focusing on protein and also our muscle building formula fit. It's very important for you at any age to build muscle. You need that. As Dr. Lange says, I'm a expert in sarcopenia, and that's very big part of that is I see patients, they're just not getting enough protein. They think they are. And but their diets change, their lifestyles change, and so they're just not getting enough protein. Protein builds muscle, and I need for you to do that to the last day you're here on this good old earth. I need for you to build muscle, because muscle allows you to go from point A to point B. All right. I watch people every day in our waiting room get up out of the chair, to go back to see Dr. Lange, Dr. Caputi, Dr. Somerton, or come back to see me in my office. But I see them get up out of the chair and need assistance to do that. And so you don't want to be trapped like that. So let's get busy, start building some muscle. Dr. Lange and I can certainly help you with that. I have to say, we have a big show, so I'm going to turn it back to you, Dr. Lange. And again, happy anniversary.
Thanks, Doc. And you guys can see Doc Hall for a free nutritional consultation at the Lange Eye Institute. Nobody does that. I repeat, nobody does that. So come to the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages, Florida. You can see any of the good eye doctors there, Dr. Caputi, Dr. Summers, and myself, Dr. Lange. And then you can set up an appointment and have a free nutritional consultation. And this is an intense consultation. Goes over everything with you, and sometimes over an hour spent with you. And it's free. There's no if, buts, ands. There's no catches. It's free. We sincerely want to help you. We're giving back to our patients and our population in the area. So come on by the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages. Let me give you the phone number for the Lange Eye Institute. It is 352-753-4014. That's 352-753-4014. It's a big plantation. That building's close to 35,000 square feet. Looks like a plantation on the Mississippi River. That's my New Orleans background. I had to design it to look like a plantation. It's right there on County Road 101 and 466, next to Publix, right next door to CVS. A great location. So come on out if you're looking for an eye doctor or if you want a free nutritional consultation. All right. Phone lines are open. We're getting ready to take the first call. Let's go to Bob first, and then we'll go to Mark and then Sally. Bob, good morning. Thanks for holding.
Doctors, pleasant Saturday. Good morning to you both. It sounds to me like I may have swerved right into what you're going to be talking about today, but my question today is whey protein. I'm in the middle of my 77th year. I can't do anything about the calendar, but I want to stave off being sedentary. And so I try to stay as active as I can. Do you think whey protein would be something I should add to my regimen?
Absolutely. If you haven't already, unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, that's an affirmative yes. Whey protein is one of the best ways to actually build muscle. Remember, whey protein has the highest biological value. It's like a perfect food, in my opinion. It has a biological value of 100, all right? And it has a digestibility of 99. That doesn't mean a lot to you people, but just to put it within context, pea protein has a biological value of 60 and a digestibility of 73. Rice protein, 64, with a digestibility of only 47. And oats have a biological value of 55 with a digestibility of 57. So whey protein is almost like the perfect food. We used to say the egg was the perfect food. Egg is very good, but believe it or not, whey is better. Remember, perfect biological value of 100 with a digestibility of 99. Now, people are asking, what is whey? Well, whey protein, remember, milk is a combination of 80% casein. That's a long, slow-acting protein, and it's on 20% whey. So whey is actually a byproduct. They used to call it a waste product, but it's a byproduct of making cheese and making yogurt. And it's full of essential amino acids, branched chain amino acids, functional peptides, antioxidants, immunoglobulins. Nothing else has all of this in it. All right. So not only is it great for building muscle, so tons of research, not just one little article. Lots of research shows that it stimulates the growth and maintenance of lean mass and improves recovery after strenuous exercise. So, Bob, if you're out working in the yard, if you're out building fences, after that, or if you're in the gym working out, drink a good whey protein smoothie. We've got our whey protein isolate I'm holding up right now. We also have our super protein. You can take a scoop of that, put some coconut water, coconut milk, or cashew milk, or real A2 cow's milk, or goat's milk, or water, and maybe put in a banana and a pineapple, and put a little pink Himalayan sea salt in there, especially if you've been sweating a lot, and blend it all together, and you got a great smoothie that's not only immune boosting, but great for recovery and great for building muscle. So yes, that's an affirmative. Whey is perfect for you. And I'm going to let the icon in sports nutrition, Dr. Hall, chime in on that.
Absolutely, Bob. You need to add that to your regimen. And it's very simple, especially with our proteins. They mix up in just a shaker. You don't need a blender. So there's nothing to clean out afterwards. There's no fuss or muss with the whole thing. And what I like and what I'm proud about our formulas most, and I say this all the time, and Dr. Lange picked up on it as well, is that if you look at the panel, the ingredient panel on proteins, they're very big, they're very, they're very lengthy, and they have basically ingredients in there that you can't even pronounce sometimes. Dr. Lange and I even have to go back to the research and look up some of these things because they add artificial this, artificial that, fake sweeteners that, they're just not good for your body any way around. And if you look at our label, all right, there's 2 ingredients in there, just 2 only. That's all. No artificial anything, right? And the 2 ingredients are, of course, the whey protein isolate and sunflower lecithin. And the lecithin is put in there as a flow maker. It allows the protein not to clump and flow out. But that's all. That's all that's in the bag. And Dr. Lange, as he said earlier about the bioavailability, that's really big. I mean, you need to listen to that part of it because there's a lot of proteins out there that I just call them dead proteins or incomplete proteins because, yes, they are, in fact, a protein, but they're incomplete. They don't have all the amino acids involved. And if they're not there, if the amino acids aren't there, then you truly have a dead protein. So I like our protein. I take it every day. After I got done from my beach run this morning, I came in and I took a shaker full of protein and just 1 scoop, and I added our Fit muscle building formula to it as a recovery agent. And that's the best you can do. It's excellent. And for you guys outside working, especially here in the hot Florida sun, and it's coming up, that's one of the best things you can do for recovery. Even if you're outside working, mowing lawns, doing things like that, you still have to recover. And that's one of the best ways to do it. So back to you, Dr. Lange, and good morning, Bob.
Yep.
Good morning, Doc. Good to talk to you.
Thanks, Bob. And look at our website. The one thing we're talking about is Fortifeye grass-fed whey protein isolate in the chrome bag. Grass-fed whey protein isolate. It's non-denatured, grass-fed, comes from UK cows. But we also have the Fortifeye Super Protein. That's for you that want more of a flavor than chocolate or vanilla. It's that dark chocolate fudge and vanilla. It's delicious. That's a whey protein concentrate from New Zealand grass-fed cows. If you're looking for whey protein, if you don't want to get Fortifeye and you're going to buy it over the counter on the website, any website, then you're going to look for 3 things. Make sure it says grass-fed. If it's not grass-fed, it means it's fed genetically modified grains, and the omega-6 is going to be very high instead of omega-3. Remember, omega-3 is anti-inflammatory. Omega-6 is pro-inflammatory, so you don't want any genetically modified grains that the cows are eating in their milk, right? And so you also want to know where the cows come from. If they come from France or England or New Zealand or Australia or South Africa or United States, that's good. If they don't say on the bottle where the cows come from, that the whey comes from, chances are it's one of those Asian countries over there that maybe you don't want to buy from, okay? That's in China possibly. So I just don't want to get any whey protein out of China right now at this time. That's my personal opinion. It's my show, so I can air that, right? Now, so you look for grass-fed, where the cows come from, and you want to make sure it says non-denatured or undenatured on it. because non-denatured or undenatured means it hasn't been heated and destroyed. Most, or I should say, a good allotment of the milk used for protein has been heated to 200 degrees for 30 minutes. That denatures the delicate polypeptides and the amino acids and the immunoglobulins. And so we heat the milk up to 72 degrees for 15 seconds. That's called cold pasteurization, therefore non-denatured, increasing the bioavailability, but most importantly, increasing the immune building properties of whey protein. All right, we're going to the phones. Bob is out, but Mark has been waiting patiently in Brantford. Mark, thanks for being patient. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Lange. And as a first-time call, I'm not sure the protocol, so I'll just set up a question and then probably hang up after that. But yeah, congratulations on 30 years. I moved from Santa Barbara to San Diego 30 years ago, and it still feels like just yesterday. But my question is this: a friend and I from Canada, we banter about as amateurs talking about supplements, antioxidants, and vitamins. And it's funny, I have designer whey cylinder right in my hand from your last caller. I'm trying to see if it says grass-fed or denatured. But my question is this. So he's told me about things. I told him about like turmeric, curcumin, and resveratrol. He shares things with me about like cream of tartar for potassium. But he brought up yesterday N-acetylcysteine, and I was previously unaware. I was just curious about your thoughts on N-acetylcysteine, also known as NAC.
Right.
I'll go ahead and hang up.
Great question. All right. So NAC, we've had NAC in our supplements for years and years because one of the things we found out during macular degeneration blood studies that one of the big deficiencies patients had that had macular degeneration, they had vitamin D3 deficiencies, they had B12 deficiencies, but they had NAC deficiencies. Glutathione deficiencies, I should say. And one of the best ways to stimulate glutathione is NAC, N-acetylcysteine, okay? However, in my personal opinion now, and a lot of studies will verify this, I think a better way to stimulate glutathione, believe it or not, and it sounds like you're athletic and you're already into the proteins, is a good whey protein. Because remember, whey protein has covalent bonded cysteine in it, especially if it hasn't been altered by heat. So once again, look on your protein, make sure it says non-denatured, grass-fed, and where the cows come from. So glutathione precursor is the cysteine, and whey is a better source. Here's another problem with N-acetylcysteine is currently the government has said that NAC is to be controlled with a prescription, all right? People that have NAC in their vitamins can sell through their vitamins, but in theory, they're not supposed to be developing any new vitamins with NAC in it. So that's interesting, isn't it? So you might not be able to get NAC much longer. People can sell through their inventory, but who knows if they're going to enforce this or not. But I think whey protein, in my personal opinion, is a better way to get NAC. And also, you're getting the muscle building properties of whey protein as well. So hopefully that answers your question. But NAC is one of those antioxidants that has some anti-aging attributes, along with resveratrol and NAD and all sorts of other great nutrients like curcumin. Now remember, curcumin is not very bioavailable. Most curcumin you buy or turmeric is not very bioavailable. So it's kind of like pea protein, not very bioavailable versus whey protein. So we developed a curcumin that's been really hot, and it's called Next Gen Curcumin, fueled by curcugen. So curcugen is one of the only, I think there's another one now, oleoresin food grade based curcumin. It was the first a few years ago when it came out. And the difference is this actually contains all the benefits of the turmeric root, not just the curcumin, the polar resins, the turmeric polysaccharides, the essential oils. It's 52 and a half times more bioavailable than a C95, which is kind of the gold standard of curcumin over the years. And why is curcumin so good? Because it's a potent natural anti-inflammatory. It suppresses something called NF-κB, which is a big word to stand for nuclear factor KB. It suppresses cytokines, prostaglandins, COX enzymes. It is amazing, and it works well with omega-3. So those of you out there that are listening to Dr. Hall and I this morning, and you have inflammation in your body, you got pain in your body, you're an extreme athlete or just a weekend warrior, and you got some muscle soreness and some pain in your body, think about, we developed something called Omega Relief. We actually take our curcumin, next gen curcumin, and we package it with our Fortifeye Super Omega. It's called Omega Relief. I got to tell you, it's worked for me. You know, I've broken just many bones in my body from racing motocross. Luckily, racing cars, I haven't broken any bones yet. And so I've got some pain at 60, and the omega 3 combined with the curcumin has helped my pain dramatically. I know I got off of the NAC topic a little bit, but we're going back to the phones. You're listening to Ask the Doctors, Dr. Michael Lange and Dr. Richard Hall. Let's go to Carolyn in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Carolyn.
Hi, Dr. Lang. Good morning. Congratulations. Love your show. And I do take your products. I have a question in regards, you had discussion last week. Someone called in and mentioned about mouthwash and hypertension. And you discussed how it, if I recall correctly, mouthwash eliminated the good bacteria in our mouth. So you said, do not use it. I was, until that conversation, a huge mouthwash rinser. And now this week I didn't use it, but I just feel like, ooh, I'd like to rinse my mouth. What about like a salt water?
Absolutely. Salt water, you could take some hot water, put some organic extra virgin coconut oil and some pink Himalayan sea salt. That will rinse your mouth without denaturing all of this bacteria. So hot water with a little coconut water, oil, and some pink Himalayan sea salt. Now, don't put too much sea salt in there. Basically, you want to stay away from all of these things that have alcohol based and hydrogen peroxide based in it that kills everything on contact. And it's an interesting study. They've had some studies that have proven that if you use mouthwash twice a day, all right, after 1 week, your blood pressure actually goes up. And so what's happening is it's not the food that you eat. When you start eating food, the digestion of food starts in your mouth. Well, the bacteria and the enzymes start to act on that food and break down the dietary nitrates into nitric oxide. And if that does not break down, you don't get the vasodilatory effects of the food. So you weren't born with any mouthwash on the planet. Adam and Eve did not have mouthwash. Now, you can still brush your teeth, and I recommend using non-fluoridated toothpaste. Now, some dentists might call in and not agree with me. Maybe during the beginning years you use fluoride, but we've all used fluoride. All right, we have all used it. I used it for 50, 55 years. Went until 5 years ago I stopped using fluoridated toothpaste, and my teeth are fine. I have a sparkling smile, and I have no infections in my mouth. So once again, there is some evidence that using mouthwash frequently may be a bad thing. Now, obviously, if you ate some garlic and you're going to go see some patients, you're going out on a hot date, you want to make out with your husband or somebody, then you could go ahead and use some mouthwash. But as a rule of thumb, just don't do it every day. I mean, a lot of people do it twice, 2, 3 times a day. I was a big advocate of that. I know I did it in between patients. I wash my hands and use mouthwash. I stopped doing that now.
Well, I stopped. I was shocked because I would do it about 4 times a day. And I was like, wow, when you had that discussion last week. One other question with the Fortifeye Complete Vitamins, now that I live north again, doggone it, am I getting enough vitamin D? I used to live in St. Petersburg. I had no concern, but now I'm just wondering.
Right. So you take 2 a day on the Fortifeye Complete.
Correct.
And how much do you weigh?
Just under 200. I'm 5'10".
All right. What color are your eyes and what color is your hair?
Green, blonde.
All right. So green and blonde is good. So, that's close to 2,000 units that are in there at 2 a day. That's probably enough for you. It really is. Okay. Some doctors say you need more. I would say next time you see a doctor, have a 25 hydroxy blood test done to see what your vitamin D levels are. If they're below 60, then add a little extra vitamin D or go out and get a little bit of sunshine. Even up north, you can find the time, minimal clothing, go out in the sun for 30, 40 minutes and get some sun without sunscreen, unless you're an albino or unless you're on medications that are, conflicting, or you have lupus or some disease that doesn't want you to get out in the sun. But most of us can get 30 to 40 minutes of sunshine a day without having a problem.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoy your show. Miss you guys.
All right. Thanks, Carol. Have a great day.
Clearwater Clinic.
All right. Thank you. You're listening to Ask the Doctors, Dr. Richard Hall and myself, Dr. Michael Lange. If you have a question, give us a call. And that is 1-877-969 8600, 1-877-969-8600. I will be at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center today at 1 o'clock, 1 to 3. That's on McMillan Booth Road in Clearwater, right next to Publix and the Bayside Bridge Plaza. So Fortifeye Nutrition Center, I'll be there for about 2 hours if you want to come out and talk nutrition. Let me give you the phone number for the Fortifeye Nutrition Center, well, for Fortifeye Vitamins. Write this down. I'm going to give it to you twice, 866-503-9746. That's 866-503-9746. Dr. Hall, I want to talk about a couple of things with you really quickly, and you can address them. But first of all, in a minute, we'll talk about how Fortifeye Macular Defense acts as a great multivitamin. It's essentially the same thing as Fortifeye Complete, except you get 90 of these vitamins instead of 60. It's a different label, but it's essentially the same exact vitamin. So I want to talk about how we use that as a good multivitamin. And also I want you to chime in about the next generation curcumin, how really this has become a huge hit because most people know about curcumin. A lot of people are taking it, but they're getting some amazing testimonials because it works. The 59 times increased or enhanced bioavailability is really working, and we're seeing a lot of patients get some relief. So I want to chime in on those two before we take the next call.
Absolutely. I just have one quick note here for the last caller, too. I stopped using mouthwash years and years ago. I really did. And I guess I tended to brush more after that. But I also use a tongue scraper. Okay. I don't know if people are aware of those, if they've ever used them or like that, but they just get rid of all the bad stuff in your mouth. And that's how I start the day with that. So the caller might want to try that. I did take heed of your last comments about the research on the mouthwash and like that. And I caution people, read labels on mouthwashes and toothpaste. Okay, there's a lot of them. There's a big famous natural one out there, and it's loaded with sodium saccharides, and you just don't want that in your body. So you have to be aware of that. Like Dr. Lange and I always say, read the labels. Be aware of what's going into your body, because the toothpaste, the mouthwash, even though you don't swallow either one of those, they're still absorbed into your body. So that's good information, Dr. Lange, all the way around.
All right, let's see what we're doing. We're getting loaded up here. Let's take Ellen first. Ellen in Clearwater, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Dr. Lange. I've been told by the ophthalmologist that I have severe glaucoma, and they want to do a procedure with laser next week, and I'm a little concerned about that. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit about what that does? My pressures are 14 and 18 in the eyes.
Sure. So there's a lot of different lasers now for glaucoma, and these are probably an option to major surgery and probably a first option. So we want to do some sort of surgical intervention when either A, your pressure isn't controlled adequately with topical drops, or B, you have progressive optic nerve damage. That means your visual fields are getting worse, your nerve fiber layer is continuously thinning, or the doctor's just not happy with the results of the pressure. And so a lot of things have to be considered. So they have to do pachymetry, that's ultrasound of your cornea, to see how thick or thin your cornea is. And if you have a very thin cornea, a large, what we call cup to disc ratio, and some compromised visual fields, then they're probably going to lower the pressure even lower than what you're at right now. Now, what topical drops do you take for glaucoma right now?
Lumigan.
And that's it?
Yes,
Okay, so, every doctor has a different way of treating glaucoma. Some doctors will add some different medications. There's many other medications that can be added to lower your pressure. But other doctors will say, hey, let's go ahead and try to nip this in the butt right now by, doing a minimally invasive procedure like SLT or ALT. That's a laser procedure. It's done in the office relatively quickly, pretty simple. The complication rate is relatively low, all right? With any type of surgical intervention, there is potential complication rates, however. So I would say if your ophthalmologist is recommending this, I think it's a good idea. It's a safe way of doing it, and it's a minimally invasive procedure. You could always ask your doctor, could we try using other drops or adding drops? You can do a little more cardiovascular exercise if you can lose weight, you can lose a little bit of weight. There is a supplement called eye pressure support made by Life Extensions. We have it available on our website that has been shown in some studies to work in conjunction with Lumigan and to bring the pressure down, sometimes 15, 20, and even 30% more. So we oftentimes will recommend that to our patients with glaucoma to see if it works. But once again, I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage because you're not my patient. So I highly recommend doing what your doctor says instead of, this is for educational purposes only. I think the laser procedure is a very good procedure. And it may eliminate the need for you to use drops. Not always, but if you can get off the drops and it's covered by insurance, then it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, she had mentioned that I'm going to have to use some Tylenol after the procedure. And, it kind of concerned me because I wondered, does this cause inflammation then after the fact? Or,
Some people can have a little ache. I'll be honest with you. We've been doing this for a long time, and very seldom do the patients have to use Tylenol. But if you have pain, Tylenol, especially after surgery, is safe because it's not thinning the blood any. So, and Tylenol is relatively safe as long as you don't abuse it. But have you
okay,
had any children?
long time ago.
Yeah, then you don't need
Um,
Tylenol. Trust me.
yeah. It's just I've gained some weight though. Now I'm a senior now, and I don't know whether that's got something to do with all of this because I never had all this problem before,
Well, weight
and
loss.
I probably need to talk to Dr. Hall about all this.
Right? Weight loss is critical. One of the first things I do when I have a patient with glaucoma and macular degeneration, especially diabetics and hypertensive patients, I'll counsel them a little bit, but I'll walk out to Dr. Hall and hook them with Dr. Hall, and then he'll get them on a specific diet, specific regimen of types of supplements and exercise and help these patients lose weight. We've had patients that have lost half their body weight. I'm talking 500 pounds to 250 pounds. So, and gotten off
Wow.
all their medications. So that's one of the most important things people can do in their life if they're overweight is to get down to their ideal body weight. Now, in the meantime, you got to
Okay.
do what your doctor says with glaucoma because glaucoma you can go blind from if it's not handled and treated appropriately. So I would do what your doctor recommends. And in the meantime, do everything you can to get in better shape. And then maybe you won't need drops and you won't need any more surgery down the road.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Lang. I appreciate that.
All right. And Doc
Okay.
Hall, weight loss is so crucial, isn't it? Weight management when we're overweight.
Absolutely. And, it affects every part of the body. In my office, I have a little chart there that shows that for every pound that you were over your ideal weight, that it puts an extra 4 pounds of pressure on your hip joints, your knee, your ankles, and 6 extra pounds per body pound that you're over on your feet. So, if you're 100 pounds overweight, you're putting an extra 600 pounds on
Wow.
your feet every day. So by the end of the day, I have patients say, Dr. Well, my feet hurt so bad and stuff. And I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, well, it's a weight problem. You're 150 pounds or 100 pounds or 50 pounds. Doesn't matter how much. It doesn't have to be a great amount. 25 pounds is exerting an extra 100 pounds of pressure on those knees and joints. And we wonder why, we have aches and pains and our joints wear out. But when we're speaking to Dr. Lang, we'll go back to this with our curcumin. That was a pleasant surprise for both of us. We know we've used curcumin for over 2,000 years, but we also know that the bioavailability and the way it gets traveled into the system was very low. And so a lot of companies would just overdose you with curcumin and hopefully that you would get a small portion of that. We haven't had to do that. So when we came up with our curcumin formula, we knew what we had. We knew how good it was because, well, quite basically, you and I kind of experiment on ourselves, and we have a research group and like that. But the accolades that have come in from folks because of the use of our curcumin for inflammation and pain is just incredible. I've been in formulation for over 40 years, and I've never seen a ingredient, product, what have you, be accepted and used and just applauded so much as our curcumin. So if you're having inflammation and pain problems, you double that up with our omega-3s, and you have a 1-2 punch there, as we call it. And speaking of omega-3s, I'm going back to an earlier comment too. Be careful when you buy omegas. Of course, we want you to buy our brand because we know what it does and we know what's in it. But the big trend right now is companies saying our omegas is better because we have omega-3, 6, and 9 included. You don't need the 6 and 9, folks. As Dr. Lange said earlier, the 6 itself is going to counteract the omega-3 because it's a pro-inflammation nutrient. Okay, so just be careful with that. Again, I go back to our read the label type thing, and that's what you have to do. And one other comment real quick about our protein, read that label too, and you'll be greatly surprised at as our label compares to everybody else. And of course, the taste and what I call the mixability. There's no lumps, clumps, and bumps in our protein. So it's very easy to drink. I mean, some of the proteins, I mean, you turn it up and there's that big lump of dry protein in there. That's because it hasn't mixed well. Ours is micronized, so it does mix well. Back to you, Dr. Lange.
All right, thank you. We're getting ready to go to the next call here. I just want to mention that caller that wanted to lose some weight. I'll say in 30 seconds how you can lose weight. Get on the Lange Survival Diet. Google Lange Survival Diet. Eat those foods. Those are safe foods, I say, to eat. You'll lose weight just by eating those foods, all right? And then take our whey protein, one of our whey proteins, our super protein or our whey protein isolate, and put a scoop of our organic blue-green superfood that we have. Put it in water, shake it up, have that for one meal a day. Monday, have it for breakfast. Tuesday, have it for lunch. Wednesday, have it for supper. Just don't have it the same time every day because your body will go into starvation mode. Your metabolism will slow down. So Lange Survival Diet for the other 2 meals, and 1 meal, a scoop of the organic blue-green superfood and a scoop of our whey protein. And I bet you, my bottom dollar, you'll start losing weight safely. All right, let's go to the phones. Alan's been on hold for about 10 minutes. Alan, thanks for holding. Good morning.
Good morning. Doc, I just have a quick question about your whey. My understanding is it comes from milk.
Yes.
And my question is, if you have milk allergies, is it possible to still take some whey without problems, or do you have to just try it and see?
Well, yeah, you really do have to try it. But anybody with going to our whey isolate, not our whey concentrate. That's the one that comes in the chrome bag. And very rarely do we have people have a reaction to it, because the 2 things that people react in milk to are the casein protein, all right, and the lactose. There is no casein in the whey protein isolate. There is no lactose in the whey protein isolate, and there is no fat, and there is no sugar, and there is no carbohydrates. So all it is the whey that has been isolated. And remember, it comes from grass-fed, non-denatured. So to this day, I have not had anybody have a reaction to our whey isolate. Now, some people can have the whey concentrate. That's our super protein. It still has the fat, but that's good fat, and that's where most of the immunoglobulins are in it. But it doesn't have the lactose or the casein either. So just because you have a reaction to milk doesn't mean you're going to have a reaction to whey, and chances are you won't. And if you do, I would give you your money back. It's as simple as that.
Well, can I ask you another question?
Sure.
If I were to incorporate some of that and still use the pea protein, is that also okay to mix the 2?
Yes, you can absolutely mix pea protein with whey, and then it's a much better protein, because remember, pea protein by itself is not the best. It doesn't have the high amounts of all the essential amino acids, and certainly low on the branched chain amino acids. And if you get a pea protein, you have to look and make sure it's organic pea protein. And then lastly, 2 other things. Make sure it's either fermented or sprouted. And you can find fermented or sprouted pea protein. If not, then it's going to be very high in some anti-nutrients called lectins and phytic acid. And that's why the digestibility score is so low on pea protein versus whey protein. So as long as it says either fermented, it's organic, and it's fermented or sprouted or both, you're fine with the pea protein. Adding the whey protein will make it that much better.
And you guys have both those products?
We have the whey protein isolate. We don't have any pea protein. And we've been working on a vegetable-based protein for the vegans out there. It's just hard to find. We could not find during the pandemic. we couldn't find any certified organic, sprouted or fermented that wasn't coming out of China. And I still have a problem with protein coming out of China, but Canada is working on one right now. So I will one day, hopefully this year, have a vegan protein available.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for all your answers, Doc. I appreciate your show.
All right.
Have a good day.
Take care, Alan. And those men that are listening right now, another good reason to take whey protein. Whey protein is a good way to help stimulate testosterone naturally. And for women, it won't make you, a freak of nature like you're on steroids, believe me. So whey protein stimulates testosterone, but it also helps burn fat due to the CLA. So it's like the perfect protein. Men, mix it with some pomegranate juice, all right? Pomegranate juice and whey protein, amazing for helping boost testosterone naturally. All right, we're going back to the phones. Ann in the Villages. Ann, thanks for holding. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a question that's related. I'm finding that I'm not recalling as much as I would like to recall at 77 years old. And I wanted to know the Focus and Brain, that supplement I've been taking for 29 days. I started it about a month ago. And I was curious to know also about, I took lutein as a supplement, but I noticed that you have lutein in your Focus and Brain. And I was wondering if I needed to stop taking the lutein and just use yours. And I was wondering how much of an improvement can one expect over memory by taking the Focus and Brain, and how long it should take.
Great question. Focus and Brain is amazing. Both Dr. Hall and I, we are so amazed at the result. Yes, you can stop taking the lutein. All right. Extra lutein is not going to harm you. Okay. It won't harm you at all. But there's plenty of lutein, zeaxanthin isomers, astaxanthin, and then the patented form, trademark form of citicoline called cognizine. And this combination really helps with short-term memory, brain energy, brain fog. Remember, all of those carotenoids cross the blood-brain barrier and the blood-retinal barrier, so they're good for your eye and the brain. When we added the cognizine, we're the first in the industry to add cognizine to a triple carotenoid like that. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. It'll take me all of 1 minute. My mom, a lot of you know, lives with me. She's 96 years old. She's in amazing condition, all right? But she does have some short-term memory issues, all right? The other day, I took her to my beach home, and I said, Mom, let's go to the beach. And when we got in the car, I said, where are we going? She says, we're going to the beach home. 10 minutes later, I said, where are we going? She said, Mike, you just asked me. We're going to your beach place. And then 10 minutes later, we're almost there, Clearwater Beach. I said, where are we going? She said, for heaven's sakes, this is the third time, Michael, we're going to your beach place. And I looked at my mom and said, you know, Mom, before you started taking this Focus and Brain, and my mom had been on it for 2 months, if I would have asked her, where are we going? She would have said, I don't know, the doctor. Maybe then I get my hair cut. We're going to go see my mom in Montgomery, Alabama, who died 30 years ago. All right. She wouldn't have known. She would have been clueless. I also notice now she's reading books. She hasn't read a book in 5 years. She sits down at the dinner table and she opens a book and reads it for an hour. So it took about 2 months, but that is, I mean, that's a testimonial right there that I stand behind. So we're getting testimonials like that coming in because we just came out with this about 5 months ago. So it probably takes longer. My mom, it took 2 months, and her memory has improved 75%.
Well, I have found, as I mentioned, short term, like, for example, you're having a conversation with someone and they're trying to think of an actor or an actress that might have played in Tiffany, Breakfast at Tiffany.
Right.
Of course, it was a long time ago. You can't think of who it was. And I never could think of it. Well, now I'm finding that it doesn't take nearly as long to think of that person since I've started taking this. So I was wondering, do you get a constant improvement? Do you reach a certain level and that's it, only because of age? Is there hope for improvement even over the 29 days that I've been taking it?
Absolutely. I think there's definitely still hope for improvement. I don't have the answers for the other because it's the first time we've combined all of this. This has been studied for years and years and years. It's been out. There's clinical studies, but we were the first to combine them all together like this. So I don't have the answer. All I know, we've had positive feedback from everybody so far.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
All right. You take great care. we're getting ready to talk to Doc Hall more about some interesting topics, but we're going to go to Gino in Indiana first. Gino, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Lange. I'd like to ask you a question. I've been a bodybuilder and a weightlifter, power lifter for a long time. I'm 90 years old.
Awesome.
I've been taking creatine, protein, and vitamins and minerals and stuff like that. My memory is very good, but I bought your 2 tubs of Fit. And I developed neuropathy because I had a motorcycle accident. And the sugar content in here, and I'd like to know about the sugar content. Would it hurt me if I took it for my neuropathy?
Okay, it's a great question. I'm going to chime in, and then Doc Hall is going to chime in because he's also an expert. So it has 7 grams of sugar. That's organic cane sugar. You will burn that walking out to your car, okay? And the reason we have that sugar in there, because it helps to replenish muscle glycogen, all right? After you work out, and especially at 90, you are doing fantastic. Let me say that. But that little bit of sugar helps 2 things. Number one, it helps make sure you don't become hypoglycemic, because sometimes when you use a sugar substitute, especially sucralose is the worst, but we do have organic stevia in there. That's a natural sugar substitute. Some people, that's 100 times sweeter than sugar. Some people's pancreases overreact and they secrete a little extra insulin, and your blood sugar can drop and you can become hypoglycemic. But if there's a little bit of sugar in there, that will not happen. Now, it's simple. If we took the sugar out, you could add a carbohydrate in there and it wouldn't happen as well. But that 7 grams of sugar should not affect your neuropathy at all. As a matter of fact, the L-citrulline that is in there is one of the best forms of a vasodilator that can help with your neuropathy, and obviously your exercise that you're doing as well. Doc, I want you to chime in, because Fortifeye Fit is one of the best things we've seen for our elderly athletes, or our geriatric athletes, and the ones that are getting a little bit older. I mean, elderly, what is elderly? I mean, 90, I guess we could call it elderly at 90, right? I don't like to be at 60 being called elderly, but Doc, I want you to chime in because you're an expert on this.
Well, absolutely. The Fit, as we call it, our ultimate muscle formula, I've certainly seen tremendous results across the board with patients with that. And I might add, as my own personal testimony, I used to be a competitive bodybuilder, gave it up about 25 years ago as far as competition was concerned. And a few months back, with your pushing me in that direction, Dr. Lange, I started really training hard again. And, it's not about ego or anything. I did it to prove a point that once you reach a certain age, I hear people all the time, well, Dr. Hall, when you reach 40, this happens. When you reach 50, oh my God, this happens. And by 60, it's too late for you. Well, I wanted to prove a point that, yes, you can still build muscle. You should build muscle up to the last day you're on this good old earth.
Amen.
And the Fit helps me do that. It really does. I don't have muscle soreness anymore. As you hear Dr. Lange and I talk about DOMS and ROMS, the DOMS, DOMS, is the late onset muscle soreness. I don't have that. Technically, according to everybody else, I shouldn't be able to move. My range of motion, the ROM, should be very low. I shouldn't be able to put my arms over my head, Well, I have complete control over that 100%, So I applaud you too, caller, 90 years old. And what I was happy with is you said you're a bodybuilder.
Yes.
I want us all to be bodybuilders. You don't have to be competitive or go to the gym, but we need to build our bodies, through proper nutrition, good foods, exercise, a good mental balance. That's all part of it, So we want to do that. But by all means, the Fit is a good way to go. And I have a lot of landscapers and people that work outside and like that, and they sip on the Fit during the day because it's a recovery formula. It's not only a pre-workout, it's a post-workout. So by any means, and if you have any questions on it, caller or anyone else, any of our listeners, I'm available. You can call me on the phone to our office. And if I'm not with a patient, I'll certainly take your call. If I can't take it right then, I'll get right back to you immediately. Dr. Lange, I do want to have you just chime in real quick on, we have a sale going on now on our macular defense, if you would give that information.
Right. And we're running out of time. Gino, thanks for that call. Please stay tuned and listen to the show, and we'll talk more about this later on. But I would continue taking the Fortifeye Fit. I think you're going to be fine. Remember, it's got everything in it: the creatine, the branched chain amino acids, the collagen protein. It has everything in it. we're just about out of time there. Yes, Fortifeye Macular Defense is on sale, 30% off. I also want to mention a caller wanted to know what the vitamin was my mom is taking. That is called Fortifeye Focus and Brain. Fortifeye Focus and Brain is what my mom is on. You can get it at fortifeye.com. Fortifeye. Fortifeye.com. Remember, I'll be at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center from 1 to 3 today. And with that, I think we're out of here. We got like 2 seconds. Thanks for tuning in and listening to Ask the Doctors. Have a great day. God bless you and God bless America.